swear that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You can please be seated, state and spell your name for the record.
All right, I'm Officer Derek Kolb, Derek Kolb.
You a police officer with the City of Milwaukee Police Department?
Yes, I am.
How long have you been in office?
Since August of 23.
What district are you assigned to currently?
District 3.
You always been assigned to 3?
Since the start of field training.
What would be the geographical area that encompasses District 3?
It starts from the most northern part of Center Street down to about St. Paul, Canal Street, and then various streets out west to about 106 to about 7th Street.
Work patrol?
Yes, sir.
Can you describe your general daily duties?
Generally, we'll be patrolling around, taking calls for service, doing traffic stops, anything that dispatchers dispatch to on a daily basis. So any sort of calls that we need on the day.
The calls for service come from a dispatch center from the city, right?
Yes, sir.
Were you working on the morning of April 2nd, 2024?
Yes, sir.
Were you alone or did you have a partner?
I was with a partner that day.
What was
I was assigned to day shift, which is 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Shortly after your shift began on April 2nd, 2024, were you and your partner dispatched to 2928 West Lisbon Avenue in the city and county of Milwaukee, Wisconsin?
Yes, I was.
What was the nature of the call that you received?
We initially get a call for service from Milwaukee Fire calling us for a request MPD. Usually that results in us being told that we need to investigate a fire of some sorts.
Did you know what kind of fire this entailed when you were going there?
Yes, initially our CAD notes read that it was a vehicle fire.
Are you familiar with what's at the address of 2928 West Lisbon Avenue?
Yes, when I started there, it was an abandoned building and it continued to be until it was torn down.
Do you remember about when it was torn down?
Approximately about 6.
Okay, after April 2nd, 2024.
Yes, sir.
Your partner that day was who?
His name is Miles Kowalik.
Mileskowalik for the record. When you were dispatched to that location and arrived in that location, were you and Officer Kowalik already there, or had the fire department already been there?
Milwaukee Fire Department had already been there and extinguished the fire prior to our arrival.
Did you speak to a member of the fire department?
Yes, I did.
Who?
I do not recall his specific name.
Okay. Was he captain that was on scene?
Captain Hoos was his name.
Hoos?
Yes.
Thank you. That conversation, I presume you just got basic information about what they encountered when they got there?
Yes.
Do you recall what that information was?
Essentially, we run down if the fire was suspicious or not suspicious, what essentially got there prior to our arrival they put out before we got there.
Was there anything notable about the trunk that they had noticed when they got there?
When they got there, I do not recall, but when I arrived on scene, the
Noticeable damage to any part did not to be
to my knowledge.
You had about
Fire.
Do you recall what address?
I do not recall.
I'm going to show you Exhibit 190. What is this?
That is a aerial view of District 3, certain parts of streets being Galena to Lisbon Avenue.
Any objection?
No.
It's received and go ahead.
Exhibit 190 on the TV screen now. Officer, at the top of the screen, there is an angled street. Is that right?
Correct.
What street is that?
The Engle Street east is called West Lisbon Avenue.
The street that runs north to south on the far left side, that's North 32nd Street.
Yes, sir.
And the map depicts as far east as North 29th Street, almost to North 28th Street. Fair enough.
Yes, sir.
Is the location where you found, or you went to?
Yes, it is.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you're pointing to the building basically at the northeast corner of 30.
Yes, sir. Just east.
All right. That building that's in and Lisbon side or whatever side?
It would have been north of Lisbon.
Behind the building at this point.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if you go down 30th, this here is what?
That would be Walnut.
This is Walnut Street. Then the one south of that is
West Galena.
West Galena. And then right in between Walnut and Galena.
Welcome to another edition to We-On-Loc Nation channel. We're just going to go straight to the video. This is for the Maxwell Anderson trial. The white supremacist perpetrator who basically unalived Sade Robinson one day of meeting her, and we're just going through the trial right now.
There's Exhibit 51. Should come up on the screen momentarily.
That was the blue Honda Civic that we got dispatched to for the vehicle fire.
I should have asked a better question. This is a body cam, right?
Yes,
Okay, whose body cam?
that would be my personal body camera.
Where I have this Exhibit 51 queued up, you're looking at the Honda Civic, right? And the street that would be beyond that building is what?
That would be West Lisbon Avenue.
So you're essentially facing south.
Yes, sir.
Is this your body cam from when you were there that day?
Yes, sir.
I'd move Exhibit 51 in and ask to publish about 2.5 minutes of it. No objection.
It's received and go ahead.
So that was the car. So that was the Honda Civic that he allegedly destroyed after unaliving her. But I just came to an epiphany just now. What if some of the body parts were inside the car? I don't know if they illustrated that or not, or if it was illuminated at all.
There's not going to be audio, correct?
No.
Why is that?
For the first 30 seconds, when we turn on our Axon body cameras, it goes back about approximately 30 seconds to where no audio is recorded during it, just how our Axon equipped cameras are run in our Milwaukee Police Department.
You hit record, but your camera actually picks up 30 seconds prior.
Exactly.
All right, thanks.
We are dealing with a serial killer. Well, he finally turns on his body cam. I wouldn't be shocked if it was just two people, not just one, that had participated in Sade's death. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked at all.
Paused at 110. That first portion of the video, what were you doing?
Essentially looking over the vehicle, just seeing what kind of fire damage is done to the vehicle. And then initially when I looked at the front plane of glass for the front window, that's initially where I first checked vehicles for their VIN number. And then the second time when I went to the inside of the door panel is where I checked for the the VIN number. First one is destroyed in the vehicle fire, so I got the VIN number off of the door.
The purpose of getting that information is what?
Typically, and sometimes with the Milwaukee Police Department, some vehicles have license plates that do not match the vehicle that it has on it. So I always double check and write down the VIN number of the vehicle and the license plate as well, just to make sure that they match if I run the license plate or if I run the VIN.
You did that in this instance?
Yes, sir.
And then did you run that information to try to figure out who the vehicle belonged to?
I did.
And who did the vehicle belong to?
We run it through a certification called E-Time, which is a Department of Transportation check. And when I ran the license plate and the VIN of this motor vehicle, it lists to Sade Robinson.
Did the VIN and the license plate match?
Yes, it did.
Okay. Playing at 110. Paused at 152. The last few seconds here, you seem to be checking the engine compartment fare.
Yes.
And on the left side of the screen where my mouse is circling here would be the front passenger rear view mirror, correct?
Yes.
And the condition of it right now at this point is what?
It's damaged.
Hanging down,
Yes.
playing at 152. Paused at 225. The front hood of the car, there's a cut straight across, correct?
Yes.
The hood is cut open?
Yes.
Okay. Is that something the fire department does?
Yes.
Playing at 225.
Super weird because that engine still looks like it's in pristine condition. Huh? It didn't even look like, I mean that in the sense of like the fire didn't touch the engine or any part of the front of the vehicle.
What the hell was he trying to do? It kind of this is interesting.
Paused at 318. At this point in the video, you're looking into
It's like
the trunk.
with the
Yes.
This,
Just like when the gate by the ocean that they were at was innocuously smashed open. He went through. So you mean to tell me he went through that gate, those two specific gates, then went all the way around the world with her cell phone? And I'm just guessing at this point. He went all the way around the Milwaukee area where they showed yesterday through the map with her cell phone, and people trying to get in contact, possibly trying to get in contact with her or whatever, couldn't even get an answer. I mean, I don't know how I don't know how location works, but you can is I think you can use the location monitor or whatever you call it to track people. You can use it and indicate that the person is still using their phone. But I can have your phone, but I can't. I just won't answer it. I don't. It was. I think it's called a locator. I just won't answer your phone. And so around 9 o'clock that night when they went to the house, I mean, pretty much that was all she wrote at that moment. But then he took the phone. Well, he didn't take the phone. He just cut her up and just threw her. And then that's where you see that the body just end up floating in the river in different locations until the phone just died eventually. Because I can be a person who could just have your phone miraculously for that particular time, but I'm just estimating.
when you were on scene here from those houses who had seen what happened?
My immediate canvas, not a single individual saw what happened, and nor did I find any camera footage around that immediate area north of it.
Okay, so you say north of it, you're looking, you mean north of Lisbon, fair?
Yes.
And are you aware of any camera footage that captures right behind that abandoned building at the time? After the arrived, did you have other members of your department come out to tow the vehicle from that location?
I do not recall if we had another squad or if it was us that waited for the tow to arrive on scene.
So there was a tow that arrived on scene, fair?
Eventually, yes, that vehicle was towed from that location.
Where do you, what's the process for that? Where does it get towed to?
We call the city tow lot, and then essentially we wait for a tow to arrive. We get a tow number that's associated with the vehicle, and then if it's a safekeeping tow, it'll be kept at the city tow lot in a specific lot separate from evidence tows.
Did you at some point become aware on April 2nd of a leg that was found at Warnemont Park?
Yes.
Did you become aware that day or at a subsequent time?
Subsequent time.
Okay. And you're aware that that leg was found on the evening of April 2nd?
I do not recall what time that was recovered.
But this time, the time you went out to this burning car, I think it's on your body cam up here at the upper right, we're at 8:22 a.m. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I have no other questions. Thank you.
Cross.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, officer. So you testified that you were dispatched to this 2928 West Lisbon Avenue for a vehicle fire, correct?
Yes.
And had you ever been dispatched to vehicle fires in that area before?
No.
Okay, so, but this area that you described, you said that there's a lot of trash around there, correct?
Yes, there is.
And I mean, I guess we can kind of look at the video here on this frame. It looks like there's some residential homes, correct?
Just north of it, yes.
Are you familiar with this area through your, responding to calls for service?
Yes.
And I mean, have you responded to calls for service about
Now
potential
you
drug
pissed
dealing?
me off.
Objection relevance?
What's the relevance?
I'm just trying to set the scene of where this all occurred, the part of the city. I mean, the state on direct information,
I don't recall that happening.
or the trash, I suppose. I mean, if I can just move on.
Okay,
Littering
please
is a
move on.
crime.
I'm gonna sustain the objection, move on.
All right, but when you arrived after the fire had already been extinguished, correct?
Yes.
And you had mentioned that the trunk was
Prejudice.
right?
Yes, it was.
And it was in addition when you arrived.
Can you rephrase that?
The trunk was ajar when you arrived, correct?
Yes.
And I guess we saw on body camera, it shows that you approaching the car, and it looks like you're writing down the VIN number.
Initially did, yes.
Okay, and did you touch the vehicle whatsoever? Did you touch anything in the interior and the trunk?
Nothing in the interior, nothing in the interior of the trunk, and nothing from the exterior. When I opened the trunk, I do not recall if I put my direct hand on it or if I used my sleeve.
Okay. And you indicated that there was minor damage to the exterior of the vehicle, correct?
Yes, I did.
But it didn't appear that there was any fire damage on the exterior of the vehicle. It looks like it was more just interior, correct?
I knew there was interior damage. I do not know the extent of the exterior of it, if it was fire damage or if it was damage done prior to the vehicle being there.
What I meant was the exterior of the vehicle, there wasn't char marks on the exterior.
I do not recall if there was or not.
It appears that the fire damage is all the interior front seat and into the back seat, correct?
There was fire damage in the interior and the rear and the trunk.
And the trunk, but we could see on the body camera that there's still some belongings that didn't look like they were charred or burned. You are looking at homes around the area.
Any houses around the area that could potentially caught this incident on camera or any sort of video footage.
And you weren't able to locate any video footage that captured the fire?
No.
And so you weren't able to identify any suspects that were captured on video, correct?
Nothing on the canvas that I conducted that day.
I have nothing further.
State.
Nothing else.
Thank you, officer.
Thank you.
This matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God?
I do.
If you could please be seated, state and spell your name for the record.
Name's Leon Martin, Leon Martin.
How are you employed?
Deputy Sheriff with the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you worked for the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office?
4 years.
You assigned to patrol, basically?
Yes, sir.
All right. Were you working back on April 2nd, 2024?
I was.
And what was your shift that day?
Second shift patrol.
What is second shift out in hours?
2 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Okay. Around 5:30 in the evening that day, were you dispatched to a call for service at Warnemont Park?
I was.
Is that at or near 5400 South Lake Drive in the city of Cudahy, Milwaukee County?
That's correct.
What was the nature of
There's a report of a possible lake at one of them.
I was in
And that was
by dispatch. Members of the Cudahy Police Department?
Yep.
Okay. What did you do when you got there?
Initially, I parked at the top of the hill that leads down to the pump house. Was directed down the hill by other members of the Cudahy Police Department. Down the hill, and just kind of flagged over the area. Police, where are you?
This area there, were you guided to where this body part was recovered?
I was.
And where Cam at the time?
I was.
I'm gonna have you take this body. This is exhibit number 10. The video's title SUSP-5 Martin. I'm gonna play a short clip here. All right, I paused it at 8 seconds, started it at 0. Can you orient us right now? Where are we?
So we're at the bottom of the hill. Right now I'm facing north.
Left side, there is that steep cliff embankment. If you went up on the top of that, that's where the park would be, correct?
Correct.
You are at the end of the service road here?
Yes.
And did you have to climb down anything to get to the location where this video picked up?
I did. There was large tree branches and like other foliage and that way.
Somewhere,
Correct.
but you would on the service road.
Like a barrier, like a traffic barrier, and then the lake is there. So it's like a roundabout, so you can turn around and drive back up the hill.
So vehicles can essentially get all the way down to essentially the shoreline, but could not get down to where you are right now in this video.
That's correct.
What do you have to do to get down to where you are in this video?
I had to climb over a couple of large trees and just.
Do you have to walk to get to the leg?
That was about estimated, probably about 100 to 150 yards.
Where I have this video paused, you're basically at the start of that walk. Is that fair to say?
That's correct.
Okay. I'm gonna play it until right now. When does the audio pick up?
Approximately 30 seconds.
Is that because that's how your body cameras work?
Correct. When you activate your body cam, it plays 30 seconds before you actually activate it.
Thank you.
I just cleaned my boots.
Trying to figure out what to do.
What's up, man?
So this is Evan Millies. We've dealt with him before. Sometimes mostly a good guy. He's gotten in this trouble a couple times, but good dude.
Okay.
So they walked down the S curve from Sheridan, started walking south just for fun, rough day on the beach. As they're walking, see that leg right there?
Yeah.
Said that it was up about approximately where the end of that stick, that branch is.
By the bushes right
Yeah,
there.
bushes.
So they found the location of the leg, or they're pointing to the location where the leg was.
said that they saw it up
So it's
there.
like up on the hill, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
So said that him and his buddy who's in my squad right now walked out, called us, and
Okay.
then when we came back, it was about, I don't know, maybe 7 feet east by the rock. I moved it just for evidence purposes.
Okay, so they just swept away?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I documented it well on body cam with different angles of where it was. And
Okay, cool. All right, we got a...
You want to tell me where it is?
What's your name again, bud?
Evan.
Evan? Okay, Evan. How long were you out here?
About probably an hour. Hour and a half.
The first time you seen anything here? Yeah. It's the first time you seen anything like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, Evan. Just hang tight, don't go anywhere, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. That is 100. Copy, thank you.
All right, hang on.
So he just threw her remains into the ocean, or at least he thought he did. 'Cause you got a leg, you got a leg 1 minute, and then of course, possibility what he did with the torso, I don't know, but like I said, that cell phone dragged from one part of the river to the other part to another part, and until it had no power left. That's just my estimation.
Evan, I'm gonna talk to you some more, okay?
And they dipped out up the water pump ways and he called us. That's at least they called.
Paused your body camera at 4:09. The object's right here. That's the leg, correct?
Correct.
That's a big boy.
Now, as we were watching that video, you're able to see the waves there were pretty violent. Is that fair to say?
That's correct.
And it was a rainy day.
It was.
Did you observe any blood or any kind of thing like that near the leg,
I did not.
or near the area where he had originally indicated the leg was found?
That's correct. There was no blood around the area or on the hill where it was initially found at.
What did you observe about the leg when you saw it?
The toenails were painted with pink nail polish. Based on the size of the leg, I could estimate that the person that the leg came from was rather short. The leg didn't appear to be decomposing in any type of way. So I was estimating that it had been placed there relatively, a short time ago.
The other member of the sheriff's department that we saw in there.
Mhm.
So the person you first talked to, that was Officer DeSmet, correct?
Correct.
The other member of the sheriff's department, who was that?
That's Deputy Michael Krieger.
Did you and Deputy Krieger canvass the scene or search the scene?
We did.
What did you find?
Nothing else of evidentiary value.
No other body parts, correct?
That's correct.
Was the medical examiner's office called to the scene?
They were.
Did they come?
They did.
Did they take possession of the leg?
They did.
Throughout that time, were there other members of your department who responded as well?
There were.
Did you search other areas, not just on the shoreline that we were watching on that video, but other areas of the park as well.
That's correct. At the top of the bluff that was on the left side of the video, that's a wooded area. Myself and multiple detectives and other MCSO personnel searched the wooded area and didn't find anything else.
I have no other questions.
Ross?
Morning, officer.
Morning.
So I just want to make sure I understand from where the parking lot is to the beach. You said it's kind of like a wooded area?
Not necessarily. There's a steep slope, like a driveway to access the Warnemount pump house. It's not necessarily a parking lot. It's just a service road that leads down to the pump house.
Okay, so to get from like the parking lot where the pump house is to the beach, is that flat or is it slanted, or what's the terrain look like?
So it's like deteriorated from time and weather. So it's a steep hill that kind of goes down.
Okay, so it goes from parking lot, steep hill to the beach.
Correct.
And we could see on the video, it looks like the beach is quite small.
It is.
It's basically cliff, a little landing space in the water.
That's correct.
Is it always like that, or do you not know?
I'm not too familiar with that particular beach. That was my first time actually being on that portion of the beach.
Okay, and you said that you didn't observe any blood or anything.
That's correct.
Did you observe any drag marks as like a body was dragged?
I did not.
Did you you said you didn't locate any evidence of evidentiary value?
That's correct.
So you didn't find like a saw?
No.
You didn't find an axe?
No.
Or any sort of knife?
That's correct.
And it looks like you're walking through, it's a pretty muddy area. It looks like it's made of maybe like clay.
Yeah, or mud or like sand and whatnot. It's not like a normal beach, like Bradford Beach or whatnot.
Okay. I have nothing further.
State?
Nothing else.
Thank you, Deputy.
Thank you, Judge.
Does anyone need a bathroom break on the jury? If you do, raise your hand. Okay, we're going to take a 10-minute morning break, and then we'll come back and continue the testimony. Please leave your notebooks on your chair or on the bench.
Okay, we're gonna do a particular video dedicating to her living the time that she was here, which was primarily a year ago, to her death. And I want to thank a content creator for covering this video. After that, we'll be seeing you real soon, sometime around 6 o'clock p.m., 9 Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern time. And also, I want to follow up with a dedication video to the Robinson family. Here it is.
Jaron, this morning for testimony, there's been a mix of different people, a lot of law enforcement who are connected to the investigation in this case. But we've also heard from two of Sade Robinson's friends. One of them is Evelyn Gertz, who does not want to be shown on camera. She took the stand and talked about Robinson's warm personality. She also mentioned how hard it is for her to test personality.
Very, very welcoming, very understanding, very strong, very smart, hardworking, probably just the strongest, kindest, most charismatic person I've ever met.
This is hard for you today?
Yes.
Robinsons took the track people's locations and kind of find out where they are at any given time. From those screenshots, the officers were able to find her phone and track it to Warnemount Park, which was the last place now we have a reporter's log where we've been logging everything that's happening in court. Also, we talked to our legal analyst, Dan Adams.
They're going to continue through, I believe, a chronological method of how this whole crisis unfolded. We started with the finding of the severed leg. Again, we know because this was reported in the media case before it became a homicide investigation. So it appears that the state is going through this chronology of how this out.
About this week. He's not affiliated with the case, but he joins us live on 12 News this morning at 6:45 every day to help break down each day's developments. So court took a 10-minute break, but it is back in session now. Anna Hill, reporter in the courtroom, says that Walker and the jury were out of the prosecution hinted at diving into a search warrant that was executed after investigators lab tested. The defense really wants this and argues that it's relevant. The judge agreed with the defense, so we will see what comes out of that exchange later this week.
All right, a major development in court this morning. Mallory Anderson there at the courthouse and the courthouse complex for us. Mallory, thank you. We should stay
in Milwaukee. Day 3 updates. The highly publicized trial for Maxwell Anderson, the man accused of killing member Day Robinson, began in County. 34. Charles 19. After they went on a first citizen opening arguments were heard May 28th. Day 3 proceedings continued May 29th. Watchable Journal is also live streamed on its YouTube. Jury dismissed for day. Jurors reviewed nearby surveillance footage at the time of the car fire, capturing witnesses discovering the fire, which is off camera, before a human figure wearing a backpack walks on screen from the direction of the car fire. The person walks off camera before one of the witnesses heard that object walking about a block away. Milwaukee Police Detective Casey Donahue testified that the subject appears to be a white male wearing a large tan backpack. Court was adjourned for the day amid Donahue's testimony. Court will resume at 8:45 a.m. May 30th. Most of the day surrounded the car fire of Robinson's 2020 Honda Civic. Authorities testified the fire was intentionally and lead position for a tall Robin 5 feet tall, while Robinson is 6 feet 1 inch tall. A witness told authorities to the car from outside. Attention focuses on who last drove Day Robinson's car. Prosecutors recalled Sheriff's Office Detective Joanne Donner to the stand to speak about an experiment she conducted. After Day Robinson's dark blue Honda Civic was found earlier in the week about the discovery of a human leg along the beach line at Warnament Park. Robinson was 5 feet tall. The driver's seat appeared to have been pulled back, seemingly to accommodate a taller motorist. Maxwell Anderson is 6'1". Donner took 2 detectives who were roughly the same height seat of another Honda Civic. The seat was adjusted to match the configuration of Robinson's car when it was discovered after the fire. The shorter deputy was not able to reach the wheel or pedal, fit a shorter motorist. When questioned by defense attorney Anthony Cotton, Donna said she did not test anyone else of any other height or body type. Determined fire intentionally set after witnessing. Ricky Hankins, special agent with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives, determined an origin and cause of the car fire. Hankins testified his agency could determine the fire started in the interior of the vehicle, not the engine compartment, and was intentionally set. 3 factors allowed the agency to reach that conclusion: the discovery of flammable liquid, the fact that Robinson was declared deceased prior to the fire, and a witness statement. Hankins said a witness told authorities he saw a man throw a lighter into the car from outside the vehicle. Authorities recovered a big lighter in the vehicle, but it's undetermined if the lighter had the capability to stay lit without human touch. After the defense argued that the fire department could have moved the driver's seat, Hankins said there would have been evidence of that during his investigation. Clothes, purse apparently belonging to Robinson found in her burned car. Sauday Robinson's burned-out vehicle shown during testimony contained the clothing that she was last seen. The driver's seat was possibly positioned too far away from the wheel for her height. Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office Detective Alexis Kruzik testified. The items recovered included a puffy black winter coat, white tennis shoes, and inside-out, light-washed, ripped jeans, with tan underwear over the legs of the jeans. Kruzik said the condition of the clothes suggested somebody was assisting in the removal of the clothes. One of her 2 shoes sustained heavy burn damage. No shirt, sweater, or bra was found. Detectives also found a piece of an iPhone that follows the outline of the phone's 3 camera lenses, Kruzik said, and a purse with a laptop, iPad, notebooks, and pens, as well as a Nick's book and documents with Robinson's name on them. Also found in the vehicle was a stuff with the odor of gasoline. Much of the interior of the car was destroyed in the fire. A yellow found in the trunk, said. Also testified Kruzik testified photos of a measuring tape showing how far back from the gas pedal the driver's seat itself had been. In response to questions from Anthony Kruzik the seat as they were putting out the fire. Kruzik said the exterior of the car was swabbed for DNA. The results of those tests were not immediately clear. Testimony resumes after the lunch break. Focus on burning car. Milwaukee police officer Derek Cold testified he and his partner helped investigate a car fire near North 30th Street and West Lisbon Avenue on April 2nd. The vehicle was the Honda Accord belonging to Sauday Robinson, who was the subject of a missing persons report filed by friends. The fire was extinguished by the time Cold and his partner made it to the scene. The interior of the vehicle was burned out. Cold said he was unable to locate any video of the car fire from the surrounding area. Authorities searched Robinson's home after remains found at We-On-Loc Park. Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office Detective Kayla Bjork testified she searched Robinson's Commerce Street apartment on April 3rd. The purpose of that search, she told prosecutors, was to find items that could have Robinson's DNA on them. Authorities wanted to see if that would match with the human leg found at We-On-Loc Park, which was later confirmed to be hers. Officers recovered cups and a toothbrush, and she later searched a locked pink safe, Bjork said. Inside of it were 47 pills of suspected meth and 18 grams of marijuana, along with $888 in cash, she said during cross-examination. Neither were tested at the Department of Justice's State Crime Lab, and no other drug-related items were found, she said. Whether the drugs found in Robinson's safe would be allowed to be discussed in the trial was the subject of a discussion between the attorneys and Crivello. While the jury was out of the courtroom, defense attorney Cotton argued the drugs could show a possible connection to bad elements in the community. Vance Curzon argued that drugs were irrelevant, but Crivello ultimately agreed with Cotton. It's always a concern when we cut away the truth, whenever we're asked to tailor the evidence, the judge said. Following Saude Robinson's travels, prosecutor Ian Vance Curzon recalled Milwaukee County Sheriff's Deputy Joseph Blanchard. He testified earlier in the week about the discovery of pieces of Saude Robinson's car at a pump house at Warnament Park on April 2nd, 2024. Today, Vance Curzon guided him through a series of images showing Robinson leaving her apartment earlier in the same dark-colored Honda Civic as it left the complex and drove away. Prosecutors again seek to establish Robinson's final locations in Milwaukee. Alana Fisher, who described herself as Robinson's best friend since the 4th grade, is the second witness prosecutors have called to the stand to discuss iPhone location data shared between the friends on the trial's 3rd day. Fisher, 21, provided screenshots of Life 360 data to police that showed Robinson traveling through the city the evening of April 1st, 2024, and into the early morning hours of April 2nd. As a previous friend also described, Robinson's iPhone last sent a location ping around 4:30 a.m. on April 2nd, near Warnament Park in Cudahy. Fisher's testimony comes after a police detective broke down Robinson's routes on the trial's 2nd day. Friend testifies about last location of Robinson's iPhone. A friend who worked with Robinson at the Wisconsin club testified that when she learned Robinson was reported missing, she checked her Find My iPhone app for Robinson's location. It showed that the last location of Robinson's phone was Warnament Park in Cudahy. It had not updated since at 4 a.m., sometime after she went missing, the friend testified, and the friend presumed that Robinson's phone had died. The friend, who prosecutors asked news media not to identify, said she and Robinson were servers at the Wisconsin club, and they spent time doing homework together. The friend could access the location of Robinson and several other people through her location-sharing iPhone app at all times. She was the strongest, kindest, most charismatic person I've ever met, the friend said. The friend also testified that she helped Robinson set up profiles on 2 dating apps, Tinder and Hinge. The 3rd day of Maxwell Anderson's trial begins. The 3rd day of the Maxwell Anderson trial kicked off shortly after 9 a.m. It is opening with Deputy District Attorney Megan Newport questioning Milwaukee Police Department Detective Nora Donegan. Donegan searched Robinson's apartment for a welfare check after she was reported missing on April 2nd. She described it as a typical college student's home, with numerous purses and clothes in the studio apartment. The detective said there was nothing in the apartment that suggested something suspicious happened to her. Day 2 revolved around the location of Saude Robinson's phone. Judge Laura Crivello dismissed the jury for the day at 4:48 p.m., May 28th. Jurors were told to not discuss the case or review materials while at home. Court readjourns at 8:45 a.m. May 29th. Day 2 largely revolved around the location of Saude Robinson's phone in the early morning hours of April 2nd, 2024. Some grainy surveillance footage of a dark sedan near Warnament Park in Cudahy was also shared with jurors, as well as darkened, shadowy images of a human figure walking among the trees at the park. Day 2 revolved around the location of Saude Robinson's phone. Judge Laura Crivello dismissed the jury for the day at 4:48 p.m., May 28th. Jurors were told to not discuss the case or review materials while at home. Court readjourns at 8:45 a.m., May 29th. Day 2 largely revolved around the location of Saude Robinson's phone in the early morning hours of April 2nd, 2024. Some grainy surveillance footage of a dark sedan near Warnament Park in Cudahy was also shared with jurors, as well as darkened, shadowy images of a human figure walking among the trees at the park. Who is Maxwell Anderson? Prosecutors say Maxwell Anderson, 34, went on a first date with Saude Robinson before killing and dismembering her, and then disposing of her body parts across the area. Anderson was arrested 2 days after Robinson was declared missing, and the first of her body parts were found. Law enforcement pulled over Anderson the afternoon of April 4, 2024, in his car and arrested him blocks from his Milwaukee home. A hooded sweatshirt found in his car matched the hoodie of the suspect, who set ablaze to Robinson's car the morning that Robinson was declared missing, according to prosecutors. He has been in jail since April 2024 on $5 million bond. Anderson faces 4 charges. First-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, arson, and the recently added charge, on May 27th, of hiding a corpse. He is facing a mandatory life sentence if convicted of the homicide charge. Anderson, who had a lengthy criminal history before his arrest in April 2024, has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Who is Saude Robinson? Saude Robinson was a 19-year-old student at Milwaukee area technical college who prosecutors say was killed at the hands of Maxwell Anderson. Several of her body parts have been found across the area, and later, an arm belonging to Robinson washed up on a beach in Waukegan, Illinois. The first body part, a severed leg later identified as Robinson's, was found in Warnament Park. Robinson was last seen with Anderson after they went on a date in Milwaukee on April 1st, 2024. Her phone was located by GPS in the area of his home, and then later tracked through Milwaukee County and to Warnament Park, before it lost battery overnight, according to the criminal complaint. Robinson was reported missing after she failed to return phone calls and did not show up for work the next day. Robinson Pizza Shuttle, 1827 N Farwell Avenue, on Milwaukee's east side. A memorial was set up at the restaurant. Family and friends of Robinson have raised thousands of dollars for a privately funded memorial in her honor. Before she was killed, Robinson was a month away from earning an associate's degree in criminal justice.
Say goodbye to yesterday. I don't know where to go. Is going to lead. All I know is where we've been and what we've been through. If we get to see tomorrow, I hope it's worth all the wait. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.